5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What are you, fucking Darth Vader? All right. Welcome back to another episode of Waking the People with your host, Sir Chad Everett Shears. And I am accompanied by exactly why Prince was so goddamn charming, Joshua McClendon, your Patriot, my Kraken. Joshua, we got a couple of things to get to today. You want to touch the topics appropriately so we don't get any kind of Me Too'd on this?
Absolutely. So first off, before we start, these past couple weeks for Chad and I have been amazing. We are 3 subscribers away from hitting our April goal of 60 subscribers for the month. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. It really helped Chad and I out, help support the channel, pound that like button. There's going to be a couple topics today where I'm going to ask for some feedback from the viewers. So please put that in the comments. All that stuff really helps us out. It's been another week, right? Another week in 2021. So it's a big week. Actually, you know what, Chad? It's actually one of my favorite weeks of the year, okay? And it's one of our first topics, and that is this Saturday is the Kentucky Derby. Now, we'll get into the topic, and maybe some people are a little surprised that I am a pretty big horse racing fan. I always have been. So we got the Kentucky Derby going on. We have Tesla selling 10% of their Bitcoin holding in all of the mayhem that caused, but definitely should not have caused, which we'll get into. We're going to talk about Elon, the CEO of Tesla, hosting Saturday Night Live and how that dumpster fire of a TV show needs to stay in their lane. It should be a good one, Chad. I'm really looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, I got a few other little topics to throw in there too, even though it's going to be somewhat of a shorter episode. When I say somewhat of a shorter episode, it's likely going to be less than 2 hours. So I've got American terrorists. What's your take, which is a segment that we're trying out on this episode. And let's see, dating that matters. So 3 nice little topics there. So not all of this is going to be a political episode by any means, but politics obviously are going to grace us with their presence because we can't get out of that. Then we also will likely talk a little bit about a recent New York City police officer being run over after or run down while trying to direct traffic from another accident simply because the woman behind the wheel had allegedly did it because of hating cops and wanting to hurt people who just did a podcast prior to doing or of this incident. So we'll get into that as well. So let's just jump right into this bad boy. I'm going to go, actually I want to add something here. Apologize to everybody about this. I'm going to take a step back. As Joshua said, pound that like button, hit the subscribe. You're going to know when we go live. When you do, hit the subscribe. I'm not trying to rhyme. Happened to be that it just come from the 90s whenever Vanilla Ice was starting to get big, but I would say that pound that like button like it's Netflix and chill. Sneak up on it. Give it a little bit of that. Would you like some wine, baby? Oh, yeah. And then hit that like button like you're trying to prove a point. All right. Let's get into it, man.
My favorite week, okay? So this Saturday is the Kentucky Derby. It's gone for 140 years straight, Chad. The only thing that ruined the streak that was the Race of the Roses is the one and only COVID-19. So 2020 is the only year that the Kentucky Derby didn't take place since its existence. And I tell you what, Chad, all week, the only thing I've been thinking, so Tampa Bay Downs is doing a viewing party, like a watch party for the Kentucky Derby. You're going to be able to go and watch 12 live races, so actual races going on at Tampa Bay Downs, as well as watch the watch party. You can have a Jubal. So all week, all I've been thinking about is a Jubal, a cigar on my hand, Chad, and betting on some horses, which we're going to get into. So, yeah,
Hey, I want to throw this out there because I have a feeling that there's a possibility this may come up. And since I'm not really a betting man, I'm going to bet on things that I think are funny. And I'm ready to throw a little bit of money on the fact that Fauci's probably, or Falsey, is likely going to come out and say those horses need to wear masks too.
They might.
Mask up those horses.
Yeah, at this point, Chad, I wouldn't put it past them at this point. But I guess it's because I've always, like, growing up, my family, we watch the Kentucky Derby every year. Just so happens this year is actually my mom's birthday, and we've always been horse racing fans. Whenever I watch, this is going to sound weird, but they're very smart animals, and they have a lot of peopleistic, I guess you could say, characteristics that they show during the competition. So like I can watch a horse event and I can tell like what horses are up for it. I can tell what horses are like kind of like messing around, like what just it's just it's so hard to explain. And so I really like trying to pick a horse. I really like researching these horses. The only thing I ever bet on, I'm not a gambling man myself either, but the only thing I have normally ever bet on is the horse races. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, all the big hats, everybody's goes to it. It's a good tradition, but everyone that I talk to, Chad, about the Kentucky Derby, I really haven't run into anyone who has the same enthusiasm as I do for it.
Yeah. You know what? I've tried. I really have. I've tried to get into so many different gambling things and just betting in general. Now, I fall victim to the same thing every single time. So whenever I go out to baseball, my education helps me identify biomechanical issues that may lead to an injury and whether or not somebody's going to have a high level of performance and abilities and things like that. But what I really fall victim to is I seem to just drink more than I watch the game. You know, you go to the Kentucky Derby, you know, you go watch the horses. That's all I want to do. You know, I just want to sit around and be like, hey, man, this is pretty great. Until I get about 6 beers in, then I'm like talking about everything except for horse racing, you know, like just having to myself a good old time. So whenever it comes to that, I don't have a whole lot to bring to the table other than just being part of the scenery, you know, a damn good looking part of that scenery.
Like once you do it, but that's exactly what the Derby is all about. It's about throwing back some jubables, which if you've never had a jubal, Chad, it's like a mint. Imagine like a mint mojito, but with bourbon in it instead of what is it? They put in mojitos rum. I think they put rum in it. It's a
I was
pretty
thinking
good
you're
little
talking about an edible. I'm like, we talk about that on the air, putting that out there.
right.
No, I never had nothing like that.
It's like the signature drink that is the Kentucky Derby. It's about throwing back some jubables. I guarantee you, Chad, if I bring anyone to a race and I get them to bet on the race, and then that race happens and they've had a few jubables, they'll be Kentucky Derby fans for the rest of their lives. Like that. It's. I think they call it the most exciting 30 seconds in sports or something like that because it's so quick. But there's the amount of intensity in that race because you know how many people bet on it, just how many people are excited about who's going to win, or you know, just all the things that come along with the Kentucky Derby. So, and also something that I love about the Kentucky Derby that I think maybe people are a little more familiar with is all the different names that they pick. Every horse is like a real funky name. Like I really liked a horse named Justify. He won the Triple Crown like 2 years ago. And there was American Pharaoh. So I got some names for you, Chad. I'm going to read some names out. Okay, just a few of them.
Let's hear these names.
I'm not sure if I'm going to say who I'm betting on in the Kentucky Derby in this episode or in Friday's episode. I'll have to wait and see. Most of the time, I'm not a financial advisor. This is all just for entertainment purposes only. But no, most of the time, I'm right. So I'll give you my two horses either this episode, next episode, or maybe I'll go Facebook Live before the race, and I'll get you guys who I think is going to win. But the first one is Known Agenda. Okay, Known Agenda. Not bad, right? Pretty normal name, right? We got Like a King. That's funny. Essential Quality. That's another horse's name. Rock Your World.
Sounds like my horse's name.
Right. Hot Rod Charlie is another name.
Sounds like another one of my horses.
Right. Another one name was O Bezos.
Oh no.
Oh no. Bezos.
Oh no. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You know what? I'm going to make a proposition. Maybe we should do a live video or a live episode at the horse races or like at the Tampa Bay Downs and then just throw it out there to everybody and say, you know what? Let's do it. You know, whoever wants to come in and be on the show, you know, on that episode,
right?
We can have some fun with it. You know, I'm a fair warning though. You know, I'm a borderline alcoholic. I'm going to be drinking.
Yeah, it should be fun. It should be interesting. So I'm not sure. There's 2 horses I'm going to bet on. Should I tell them this episode, Chad? Should I wait? What should I do here?
No, let's wait. Let's wait.
Okay, let's wait. I'll tell you who it is.
I would say, though, this is something that I want to put out there, though. Come up with your best racehorse name. So put it in the comments, throw it in the video on Facebook, put it on the YouTube video as well, or on Rumble. Put it in the comments. What's your horse name? Like if you had one, you're one of those ultra wealthy people that that can do it. Throw in a horse's name. Let's hear what you got. You know, I think it would be hilarious because I would come up with some ridiculous names, and I probably will. But Joshua, we need to talk about potentially doing an episode. We just got to find out what kind of restrictions they'll have there, and if we can do it, we can actually just do it and hang out. I think that would be actually pretty funny and also a lot of fun. So,
yeah, definitely. We'll see what the parameters are. You know, I'm surprised, Chad. You know, moving into our next topic, I'm surprised that Elon doesn't have a horse.
Who says he doesn't have a horse?
Right? He might.
You know, it's just maybe nobody's named their horse after Elon. You know, I would just name my horse John Holmes.
John Holmes?
Yeah. Run, you big... Never mind.
Or just like Mrs. Jones or Nobody.
Yeah.
No,
he was a famous porn actor back in the day.
Oh, okay. That's before my time.
Well, no, I've heard of a lot of crazy ass names, and I know people that bet just solely because of the name of the horse. They like it. It resonates with them. They rub their old jock strap from freaking junior high, you know, whatever the hell it is that they use is their thing that gets them going. But yeah, man, that's Satan's little helper. I don't know how funny that is, but Sweetwater Downs Racing. Oh, look at you.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Sweetwater Downs Races. That's I don't know if that's local or not. Jacqueline, is that local to Tampa or is that in another area? Because Tampa Bowl is, well,
was it Sweetwater, Chad? I didn't catch the beer. Was it Sweetwater?
No, Sweetwater Downs Races.
Sweetwater's Downs Races.
You know, I want to let everybody know this, and we have not talked about him in a while. Corn Pop is still with us. He's still producing. He's still in the background. We just had a little bit of an argument one day, and I slapped the straight razor out of his hand. And ever since then, he's been pouty. So I would like to have Corn Pop pull some of the stuff up, but unfortunately, he's not doing that for the show right now. So all of that has to do with me being clunky and making my moves in order to show you guys what I want to show you. So, and unfortunately, Corn Pop is being a little bit of a rascal. Yeah, a rascal. So, all right. So if you're going to want to find out what Joshua bets on, because Papa Bear over here ain't betting shit. But if you want to find out what Joshua's going to bet on, you're going to need to catch the next episode that we'll do later in the week. So that pretty good. I do want to see what somebody puts down as their horse names and all of that. Oh, it's in Wyoming. Jacqueline says that place is actually in Wyoming.
Okay.
Is that all that Wyoming has? Is horse races?
Them and Josh Allen. That's about it.
Josh Allen?
Yeah, he's a quarterback for the Bills. He's from Wyoming. He went to the University of Wyoming.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good fields. I mean, I guess they got fields. I've never been to Wyoming. Watch Wyoming be awesome. We're over here like shit talking it. It could be like the best place ever to live. I hear a lot of good things about Montana. You know, Montana I hear is great. They got a lot of horses. I could go up there. I don't think they watch Saturday Night Live in Montana, if I had to guess, Chad. You know,
they probably still have a good sense of humor then.
You're probably right.
Let's just face it. Hey, Saturday Night Live is like a dumpster fire behind an old Quiznos that was renovated for a Dollar General that is also a bio waste dump. And it's just putrid. It just sucks. Like Saturday Night Live lost its flair. I don't know. What was it, 20 years ago? I don't think there's anything good that's come out of that crap hole of a dumpster fire since. And I used to love it, man. I'd rush out to go watch that like every Saturday. You know, I just loved it, man. I would check in, like I'd watch it on Saturday night at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. at night. There you go. If anybody thinks I'm smart, fooled you. But yeah, man, it's turned into a dumpster fire. But I don't know how the hell they got Elon to agree to host. How'd they do that? Like, he's classy. He's a smart dude. Why would he go in there and like try to put out a fucking dumpster fire? It's like stomping on a plastic fire. It's just gonna get all over you and burn the shit out. No. I'm sorry. Am I too rich in my opinion about Saturday Night Live? Because you look like almost like I just did something that you should report to the police.
Well, I mean, it's true. Like, so, and they're not really happy about having having Eli on the show, which, I mean, you're right. The last person I can remember coming out of Saturday Night Live that was remotely funny was probably like Will Ferrell, and that was even before my time. I mean, Andy Samberg was pretty funny. I liked him a lot, but now the people on there, what are the qualifications? I mean, the people, so a lot of them are upset about Elon coming on, and it's all because of a tweet where Elon said, "Let's see how live Saturday Night Live really is," or something along the lines of that. And they got mad about it, and it was like they were like, "Oh, we don't want them on." People I've never heard of, they're like complaining about Elon coming on. When let's be honest. Like, what could Elon possibly do? There's only I know 3 things that he could do live that could make people somehow upset. But Elon builds rockets. He builds cars. He's going to the moon. Like, Elon is a genius. He's not. I think Elon has a hard time interacting with people who are not at his intellectual level. So let's pump the brakes a little bit about being pissed at Elon for saying something that I don't even know if he can really even deliver, you know?
Maybe this is like a PR move, so he's more relatable to dumb people. If you like Saturday Night Live, I just called you dumb. I'm going to sit with that for a second and let you realize that I probably feel that way. All right, let's put it this way. If you find modern day Saturday Night Live funny, I had to slow it down to make sure they get it. Your parents failed. Yeah. Saturday Night Live lately sucks, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And if you like anything after Will Ferrell, and okay, Adam Sandberg, we'll give him that because actually he is kind of funny. But if you say Jimmy freaking Fallon, I swear to God, yeah. So, all right, I had my seizure moment. So, yeah.
Conan's way better than Jimmy Fallon is. I like Conan, but I don't watch his show. That's the thing. Like, who actually watches these? Like, who's rushing home anymore on a Saturday night to go watch a TV show? Like, no one does. Like, there's either you're at home already and you're going to watch it, or you're out and you're going to do your own thing. I feel like there's too much to do nowadays, especially with streaming and Netflix and social media.
Oh, yeah, Pornhub. I mean, all of that, there's just way too much to do.
Sorry, Saturday Night Live, but you're not even in the top 200, you know?
I'm not sorry at all. You suck and you did it to yourself, you dumb bastards. You did it to yourself. You were the first trendsetter for good and woke. Yeah, you got woke. You went broke. You dumb bastards. Yep. You know what? I actually feel bad for the guy that actually originally came up with the ideas that ended up splintering off and becoming Saturday Night Live. What was that guy's name? He was a funny guy, man. And he ended up like basically he killed himself, but it was through an accident. And I forgot his damn name. Yeah, I do have a statement coming out here that was tell us how you really feel. And I promise you, I will get in trouble if I do. I'm trying not to get banned too many times on Facebook and YouTube. And Joshua, poor Joshua, we'd have to raise a foundation for him to deal with the fact that I got us in trouble. So, yeah, this is all you get. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Right. All right. I mean, there's 2 things he's going to do. He's either going to say Dogecoin like 100 times with them not knowing it's coming, or he's going to say something about Bitcoin. It's going to be crypto related somehow that he's going to try to pump up. He wants to see if people are actually watching it now. It might work when you really think about it, because like Chad and I just said, I can't remember the last time I've ever seen a Saturday Night Live episode, but I know about it because Elon Musk is on it. So how many people are going to think that same way and are going to go watch Saturday Night Live just to see what Elon does live. So that's my prediction. This could be something Doge or something Bitcoin.
Yeah, I would definitely say that it's likely going to be, it's going to help them. But, and it might actually help Elon too, because he does have some of that public face, some PR things that could help him out. Although he really doesn't need the help. He's the second richest man on the planet. You don't really need the help. And it's actually, it's not too much of a stretch between him and frickin' Jeff Bezos. Now, continuing the Biden administration, Jeff Bezos is definitely going to end up continuing to make a bigger stretch between the two of them. But then again, Elon just got he got a contract with the government over Tesla. So that Nancy Pelosi cashed in on. Oh, wicked witch of the West. So I got people sending messages trying to make me all distracted, but you know what? Ain't gonna mess me up in my game. I don't care what you're doing right now. All right.
Like you say that, that's actually completely correct. I can't remember the last time. I've never gone to YouTube. I kill you. I've never gone to YouTube and typed in Joe Bezos podcast, like, or some event where he was speaking. I've never done that, but I've done it plenty of times with Elon. So it just kind of tells you who's, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Well, what I will say is if anybody, like, if you wanted to pull up like Google's, like, okay, who owns Amazon, you probably, that's going to be one you're going to see that, because that is who owns Amazon. But if you get over to like, okay, anything else related to Jeff Bezos, all right, how much money did they donate to BLM, and then they burnt down one of his factories? So there's that. And the other is his divorce, where his wife took half of his earnings when he was a multi-billionaire. But then again, credit to him for his business model. He made that money back and then some in less than a year, I believe. It was insane how fast he made up what his wife ended up taking in the divorce. And he had like $50 billion when that happened, or something fucking stupid. Like, here I am over here just trying to get a little fraction of that action. And I don't dislike Bezos because he's wealthy and all the rest. I'm not one of those people that want to punish the successful. I don't like Bezos because of his politics and what he does with the fact that he is the wealthiest man in the world. That's why I don't like him, because he's getting involved in things that absolutely affect all of us, like Bill Gates and taking up all the fucking farmland. So anyway, all right, let's not go down that rabbit trail, because I'm going to get bitchy.
It's true. It's true. Elon. So do you want to jump on one of yours, Chad, and we'll save our Bitcoin topic for a little bit? I feel like people kind of like Bitcoin. We'll give them a little bit of a cliffhanger there on Facebook Live. Bitcoin might do some jumping. There might be some other coins that might do some jumping that I have a really good feeling about. This, I'm not a financial advisor. This is all for entertainment purposes only. How many times do you have to say that, Chad? Do you have to say it every time we give any kind of, like, now we have to give disclaimers on every avenue now? I don't know. Maybe it's one per episode.
You're going to have to actually make the statement per episode or per subject, simply because we deal with people out there that are just trying to get rich quick. And in the event that they feel that they may be able to take advantage of a particular situation, you have to throw it out there. Even though if we say it in the very beginning in a disclaimer, if people clip it, you may still have to get an attorney involved, just so that you can say, hey, they took it out of context, and they're basically lodging this entire thing against me out of context. So unfortunately, with that, I'm not a social media attorney or anything like that, but I will say that you and I are going to play it a little safer. So if you do hear this out of us a little bit more often than not, do know that the reason why we're doing that is so that we can continue to do this, because there are plenty of people out there that are just shitbags. They feel if they can get rich off of somebody else's mistake, they're going to take advantage of it. They're opportunists. So that being said, neither one of us are financial advisors. We will not help you plan out your future financially. We will share with you what we find interesting, but we're not telling you to do anything with that information. You are a mature adult if you're watching this. And if you're not a mature adult and watching this, get the fuck off this channel. So with that being said, do what mature adults do and be responsible for yourself. And if you can't do that, do not subscribe to this channel, don't watch these episodes, and go play with Play-Doh at the kids' table. I'll talk about you. And with that being said, moving on.
Who is so tell
If
me
you
about
want
these
to
American terrorists, Chad. There's many American terrorists. So when you say American terrorists, before you tell me the topic, because again, remember, me and Chad never discuss our topics with each other before we do the show. So when I think American terrorist, I think Timothy McVeigh. I think the KKK. I think the Black Panthers. I think
Ted Kaczynski,
Ted
Unabomber.
Kaczynski, Unabomber.
Yep.
I think what are some other real big? I think mass shooters. I guess you could put those. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I get. I'm not sure what the actual definition of. Actually, no. Terrorism can just be anything that disturbs the peace, right, Chad? What's the actual definition of terrorism?
Well, it's those that invoke terror, but that's my general overview of it. But it's not the textbook definition. But it is a terrorist as somebody who invokes terror. And let's do it real quick. That's what I said on prom night, by the way. Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're no short on domestic terrorism in this country, and I actually think it's it's definitely on the rise as of late. By what means, I guess we'll decide, because there's so many on different sides of the spectrum as far as who's causing this terrorism that's growing, and who's to blame can be a lot.
I got a couple of definitions for you. Ready? This is directly off of American Heritage Dictionary of English and Language. So, terrorism, the use of violence or the threat of violence, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political goals. Second, resort to terrorizing methods as a means of coercion or the state of fear and submission produced by the prevalence of such methods. Thirdly, the act of terrorizing or state of being terrorized, a mode of government by terror or intimidation. So with that, I'm going to give you who I feel is an organization of terrorists. Now, do I mean this as every single individual that ascribes to this particular thought process and all of that? No, I'm not saying that. But do I mean it in the way that the definition is described by? Yes, I do. So, American terrorists. BLM. Yes. Now, do I feel that Black Lives Matter? Individually, the people that I know, the people that I love, the people that I care for. Yes, I feel that their lives matter, but I don't care about the color of their skin. I care about the content of the character. I care that the fact that they're alive. I care. Now, the organization that raises money and organizes groups to go out and do things, I consider them to be American terrorists. Now, with that being said, if you tell a shop owner that if they do not pay you dues, which happened in Portland, Oregon, and in many other states, also there was reports of this going on in Michigan. I believe also Georgia had some of these reports going on. If you do not pay dues to these individuals, they will not only disrupt your business, they will destroy your business. There was the not retired, he was a firefighter in Michigan that opened a bar, and right after George Floyd when he died, they set fire to his bar. They tried to open his safe. He was there, couldn't stop them because they threatened him with violence as they tried to open his safe. They continued to try to get the codes from him and everything else. This man was in absolute tears, and he's a firefighter. Those are typically pretty tough people. This man was trying to make a break for freedom in the sense that he was pursuing the American dream. I stand behind this statement. I can be proven wrong. But I will tell you this. I consider this movement a terrorist movement. Now, how do you correct that for people like myself. You simply correct that by being responsible. So if you are part of this and you find out that somebody that's in your organization that is actively pursuing or trying to tell people to do these things and to coerce people out with fear as a method, do something about that. How about you go and you police your own organization, individuals? If you do that, you'll likely start gaining the respect for people like myself who wants people to have respect in their life. I want people, no matter what your racial background, because I don't care, and I haven't, and I refuse to care. I do not care about a racial background. I care about how you're treated as a person. And if there's any inequality, we need to talk about that individually, and we will itemize that individually. But if you're going to go around and say, well, then therefore you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a bad person because you do not submit and bend the knee, I will not do that. And you will fall into my terrorist list because you were doing that to me by threat that if I do not bend my knee, then therefore I am your enemy. And solely because I don't bend my knee, I'm your enemy. That makes you a terrorist because you're threatening me if I don't submit. And I'm not going to submit. Care about you as a person. Do not care about you as an idea. Do not care about you by your racial identity. Don't care. I will not let somebody do something unjust to somebody that I care about. I don't care about what color your skin tone is. Time to grow up. We're Americans. We're working together. We're fucking Americans. Okay? End of story on that. I got nothing else to say about American terrorists at the moment. If you want to say, well, you didn't mention anything about the KKK, thanks for moving the goalpost. And yes, I consider the KKK an American terrorist organization as well. Nowhere near as big as BLM. Nowhere near as big. So I don't care. However you want to convolute the whole point, I don't give a shit. Convolute away. If you want to be in this conversation and not play a Play-Doh at the kids' table, then try to at least stay rational with it. Other than that, I got nothing else to say about this. That's a mic drop.
I mean, I think there's more. Like, I haven't really done too much research on Black Lives Matter, but the very few amount of hours that I've spent researching Black Lives Matter, it makes me think of other aspects of terrorism that Black Lives Matter could impact if they wanted to, but they have yet to do so. So I had a conversation with someone a couple days ago who is African American, and we were talking about what do we think are some of the things that are holding back the African American community from pursuing further and just becoming better. And we kept coming back to the media over and over again. It was the media. We have, Cardi B. We have all these rappers talking about shooting people and robbing things, and I'm selling drugs. And so what are these kids going to listen to? These African American kids, that's what they're listening to. So to me, it feels like Black Lives Matter could make a difference if they actually wanted to, by whether it be lobbying media to maybe restrict what they put on the radio. I feel like the radio now, I don't even know. I think the only words you can't say is the F word now. And I swear, so I'm not, some, square, but still, the amount of stuff you can even put on television now is way more intense than it was beforehand. So kind of a mic drop as well. Really don't have much to say about Black Lives Matter other than if you do support the organization and you do believe that they are trying to achieve the goal that they say they are, then contact them. Make sure that money is going where it's supposed to go. Make sure that they're in the African American community. Help boots on the ground, not just on TV, and we put it on the NBA's court when they play and just leave it at that. That's not how things get done. So yeah, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. You know what? Every time somebody wants to throw something out there like that, I'm going to say things like this. Demetrius Griffin. If you don't know his name, apparently his life didn't matter. He was stuffed into a trash can, set on fire, simply because he wouldn't join a gang in Chicago. He was a young black boy, and he was set on fire by other black boys. His life mattered, but there's no marches. There's no the crazy ass attacks and the rest of that stuff going on. You've got the retired police chief that was killed. Nobody was crazy about that. As soon as you fall into a specific job title, no longer does your life matter. Now you're just your job title. I'm not playing that game anymore, man. It's fucked up. I care about my friends. I care about the people in my life. And if an organization is going to start taking money, using that money in certain places, and you're going to get behind that, audit what that organization is doing with that money. If you have no interest in where that's going, then perhaps you're being useful for them, but not really for your own means. So with that being said, I'm not going down any other rabbit trails on this. It is a terrorist organization at this point. Now, is it every single person in there? Absolutely not. There's plenty of people with great ideologies that are falling in that, trying to take care of people they care about. And there's other people that just don't care. And if you think it's going to go away, cancer organization hasn't gone away because they can't find a cure. And you know why they can't find a cure? Audit where their money goes. What are they doing with that money? How much money really goes to research, and what research is actually getting the green light, which isn't? Do you think that that organization would stay in existence if they actually found a cure? Same concept. So if you can't create a division, yeah, they're not going to go away. So as far as that goes, that's where I stand with it. Now, if it's something you disagree with, it's a different side of the perspective. But whenever I see people being terrorized simply because they do not bend their knee or because they don't align with that ideology, sorry, that's exactly how I see it. They're using fear, they're using terror to try to organize people or to get them to submit. I'm not into that. I'm not going to agree with it. So I got a friend of mine that jumped in again. Joel, you and I will always care about you, man, but we're going to find ourselves on different sides of this argument or conversation. You'll always be my friend, but I'll tell you, dude, I don't see it the same way. Don't see it the same way. So does it mean that there's not people in that organization that are trying to help? Doesn't mean that at all. But as far as overall, no, I don't agree with it. So I don't have anything else to say about this particular subject, but that is what I wanted to throw out there because you know what? It's gone on too long. Too many people. Like you cannot have an organization like this interfering with a judicial system. They're not the judge, jury. They're none of those things. So for them to sit there and create fear for people, whether or not they actually go a certain way with their own views whenever they're on the jury, that's wrong. Absolutely wrong. It's mob rule, and we can't have that. So, all right. You have anything else on this one?
Not on this one. Not on this one. No, there are companies out there. There are entities out there that are trying to make a difference, Chad. And one of them is Tesla. And it's hard not to be a Tesla fan in so many different ways. Even if you don't own the car, because we know they have production issues that they can't produce enough cars, so they have to upcharge the price. So eventually we will get some cheaper Teslas once their production increases. They can get more factories. But what they do have, Chad, is a lot of Bitcoin. Now that might be the point where we have to tell our Facebook Live listeners that we got to sign off. I feel like a lot of people only check out our show on Facebook Live and they don't come over and they don't hit that subscribe button, help Chad and I out. I can't tell you how many people I know listen to the show. When I ask them if they've subscribed, they say no. So with that being said, all of our Facebook listeners, I'm about to dive into Bitcoin a little bit. Tesla sold 10% of their Bitcoin holding. Let's not confuse that with Elon selling 10% of his Bitcoin holding. There's a couple little Twitter fights that have been going on about that the last couple of days. Tesla, the company, sold 10% of their Bitcoin holdings only for the purpose to prove the liquidity level that is Bitcoin. I think they made $270 million when they sold their 10%. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So there's a couple people are pissed about that. But yeah, I think a lot of these people just need to understand that Tesla is not Elon. Elon is the CEO of Tesla. Tesla is a company. There's a lot of people who have the say in what goes on with Tesla. But it is a little disturbing, Chad. I'm not going to lie, as a crypto fan, that Tesla owns a lot of Bitcoin. Like I think $2.5 billion they put into it. And
Jeez.
They put a lot. And also Elon didn't not admit on this little Twitter battle with the Barstool CEO. What's his name? Dave. I forget how to say his last name. I love him, but they got into a little Twitter altercation, and Elon said Tesla sold their Bitcoin. Do what?
I forgot his name. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Barstool. What is that? Barstool.
The Prez. You can call him the Prez. Everyone's good with
Yeah.
that. It's Dave. Yeah, they got into a little altercation, and Elon said Tesla sold their 10% of their Bitcoin holding. I did not. So you're like, oh, okay. Elon finally admitted that he personally had it. So a lot of people are getting pissed at that, but it does scare me the fact that literally at any moment, all of these, in it first Bitcoin holders could just sell off and make all their millions and millions and millions of dollars. But you know what, Chad? At the same time, that sucker would be right back up again, because all that would do is drop the price. And I'd be on it. If that sucker, imagine if Bitcoin went down to $100 now. You don't think that
Oh,
everybody
dude.
would jump right back on again?
Oh,
Oh, it'd
yeah,
get annihilated. It'd
yes.
get annihilated. So it should never even scare you. I think that's what's so awesome about Bitcoin and just how strong it's become, just in a technology sense, in a currency sense, that we know that if it were to crash back down to $10, people will jump right back in again. So that makes me think.
Here's a really sad story I've got for you. So I believe it was 2012, maybe in 2013. Bitcoin was like $20 a coin. And I was out with one of my personal training clients. We were at a park, we're working out, we're over in Safety Harbors, my buddy Tim. And Tim goes, Chad, I got this idea. No, he didn't say I got this idea. He goes, Chad, have you heard anything about Bitcoin? And I was like, what? And he goes, cryptocurrency. Have you heard anything about it? And I'm like, no, not really. I'm like, no, I was completely ignorant to it. And he's like, yeah, well, this is what it is. And like in Tim's defense, Tim spent 30 minutes out of our session talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and how it all works. And I do believe he brought up even like how blockchain works. Right. So he's going through all of this stuff. And I'm sitting there going, I'm a holistic personal trainer, corrective exercise specialist. I'm running my own business, but I'm not making my bills easy. It's not like I had the money just flowing in. So back then, $20 was kind of like if I were talking about $2,000 right now. Right. And I sat there and he's just going he goes, yeah, I think I'm going to buy us a bunch of these. And I'm like, now Tim's a little better off in life. And I want to say, and he's one of my friends on Facebook too. And he'll remember this conversation, I guarantee it. But I want to say he said he was going to buy about $10,000 worth. Now, I don't know if that's actually 100% accurate because I was still kind of in my head going, $20 buys me, groceries for a couple of days. Because I learned how to be really efficient with my money, and now I look back and I'm like, had I bought just one and sat on it and just forgot about it, it just leaves me going, holy shit, man, that's crazy. You heard about the pizza delivery guy that was paid 30 Bitcoins for a pizza? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Could you imagine if he got it and sat on it or forgot about it? 30 Bitcoin right now. And what are they at? $62,000 a coin?
I think, let me check. It's been going wild the last few days. Ethereum, all of them have been going crazy. Let's do a check. It's at $54,786.99 right now.
Yeah. Oh God. Could you imagine
sitting with 1.6 mil, Chad? That's how much you would have made for that pizza.
Yeah, right. Talking about it.
$1.6 million.
Yeah. So, all right. All that. Yes, it's insane what cryptocurrency is doing, but there's a lot of them out there. And I will say, do research behind it before you get involved in them. Don't just jump on because of the hype, but research quick. It's a lot of these, you don't have a big window before it takes off, and it doesn't mean that it's going to take off to be a big thing. I'm not a financial advisor, not that guy. I'm curious, I'm interested, and I want to try to be able to give the best information possible as well as do the best for myself, in my own life. So as far as that goes, that's insane. Tesla, but what's several $100 million to Tesla as a company? I don't know what the company's total assessed value is, but I'm pretty sure it's in the billions. So I imagine we could look that up, but at the moment, we're a little strapped for time, unfortunately. Let me take a quick look.
I got you. $208 billion.
Cool. Yeah, so even 300 million, 200 million is not that big of a deal to them. So, oh
20
well.
bucks.
Yeah,
It's
that's not too big of a
insane.
deal. But
So
point, yeah, that's
yeah, it's
I didn't
insane.
even know that Tesla as a company owned Bitcoin. So that's news to me.
Well, that was a big reason why there was a giant upswing not too long ago when they did buy it. Like $2 billion going into that market, man, it's going to skyrocket that sucker. So that's a big reason why we are the price. And I feel like a lot of heavy Bitcoiners out there were a little upset that Tesla just sold 10%, and maybe it got some people kind of a little nervous. Maybe they thought there's going to be some bag holders here pretty soon if Tesla were to decide to, you know, sell all of their Bitcoin. But like I said, it would just bounce right back up again. So there's nothing really to worry about there. So if you are in Bitcoin, if you like cryptos, I we're gonna put actually another thing I haven't told Chad that I'm gonna tie into this. We're gonna put my Instagram in the description. Sometimes I'll post little crypto things. I try to keep people involved and the people who follow me just to try to bring some kind of value to the table. I like to be productive with social media. So I'll put my Instagram name in there and you can come follow me and you can see some of the crypto stuff I'm throwing out there on my stories and whatnot. Also, we have an email now. We finally have an email. So if you would like to contact the show, if you have some insight, if you have some criticism, whatever you want, we have an email. Tell us some topics you'd like to hear about. It's wakingthepeoplepodcast.gmail.com. So we're going to put that in the description as well, so you can get in contact with Chad.
Nice. Look at you. You're a little industrious, Joshua. I love it. All right. We're going to have to move on because we do have two more subjects we got to touch on, and we got about 12 minutes left.
All right,
So,
let's hit it.
all right. So with that, all right. So what we got here, dating that matters. All right. So how many people actually have any kind of intent to dating anymore? Right. It's like everybody has this idea that whenever they go to date somebody, they just want somebody to save them. They want some sort of savior to show up. I'm just a queen looking for my king, and I'm sure plenty of people have heard me say this at this point, but just know this: if you don't have any intention of actually working on the relationship, the same thing as in growing up in the wilds of suburbia, which is the other channel with you, with this one that I host. Most people believe that dating and relationships are 50-50. Truth of it is relationships are not 50-50. They're 100-100. So it's 100% on your side, 100% on the other person's side. If not, then you're going to have some sort of some form of inequality. What do you check out? Like you're at work and 50% of the time you're on with the partner and then 50% of the time you're not. So whenever it comes to dating, it's more of, are you spending time with this person just because you don't have anything else going on? Or are you spending time with this person because you truly are trying to create a future with this person, or any other variation? It's nothing's wrong with it if you're just spending time and just enjoying the moment. Just the goal is to make sure the other person understands this. Unfortunately, we have far too many people that they get involved in things and then they go along, like, so they'll get into a relationship with somebody, they have mixed goals and mixed agendas, and then they spend time like a wrecking ball trying to cause harm to the other person simply because they didn't understand each other. So if we want to see something better in life, we really do need to start looking at aligning yourself with people that are up to very similar things. You're just spending time with each other. I've been through the spectrum when it comes to the dating life. And I'll tell you now that whenever I actually got really honest with myself, I got really honest with my partner at the time, or partners, and let them know what I was up to. And I got to tell you, man, that really enriched the moment. Whenever I set my sights on actually building something for my future, I did a lot of things with my partner at the time so that her and I could create the future that we both said that we agreed that we wanted. Now, even though that relationship or those relationships didn't work out, when I set those relationships with that kind of purpose, I always walked out or left or was out of that relationship having built myself up into another evolved version of myself. At this point in time, I stubbed my toe on the dining room table, and I'm going to go back to my online dating because you know what? Yeah, my partner didn't respond to me the way I wanted them to. So it's just like this instant gratification seeking. if we want to overcome these instant gratification seeking behaviors, we have to start looking at exactly what we want to experience right now. So if you want to experience something far more fruitful, then really set your flag in the ground for that. But understand what the hell you want. If you don't know what you want, don't demand your partner to give it to you. You know, if you're going by the fairy tale ideas, fairy tales have details that you need to understand. You know, if you think somebody's just going to come along and save you from your life and they're going to whisk you off your feet, you just became a dependent. You know, you're dependent on them. But if you don't have that kind of clarity, so if you want to date with an intention, you can create something else. You, like a butterfly, can evolve into something else, you know, from the caterpillar to the butterfly, but treat that way. Create that kind of relationship that you want. But dating that matters is a bigger value. You know, our divorce rates right now are absolutely incredible. So we have people, they people back out of relationships for some very simple reasons. Now, we're not, a lot of people aren't fighting their way through these issues where they come up with something. Know what you want, declare it, enroll the person in your life or the person you're interested in that thing, and be responsible for what you enrolled them in. But if you hide behind it or create some other thing, it's on you if you're the one that ends up misleading people. And if you think that that's a reason to go tell other people how bad that person is, at some point in time, somebody's going to find you out. It's going to be really uncomfortable for you, especially when you realize that you've been that jerk to somebody else. So when it comes to that, I'm not a dating coach, although I have a lot of training and development in it. I just didn't choose that career path. But I will say, if you want to date with intention and date with an opportunity to create yourself into the next level of who you are, date with purpose, date in a way that matters. You know, if you're in a marriage with somebody right now and you feel like it's not necessarily going the route you want it to go in, it's about time you actually sit down with that person and understand where you want to go, where you currently are, and where you have been, and make sure you have absolute clarity and to realize whether or not that's something that you two should work towards going in that direction or not. I mean, you can even hear my pups right now in the background. They're all up in each other's business because they're fighting their way through their problems.
It's so true. I think that part of it's Instagram, part of it's Tinder, Bumble. We do live in a world that has affected my generation, especially in a lot of different ways. I was talking about this with Danielle earlier, how we're so used to instant gratification in our lives. Like, our parents worked really hard, we're able to do well. So our generation is far better off than any generation before us has ever been with technology, finances, access to information. It's crazy. And that comes with dating as well. We have a giant access to one another. I mean, you can message anybody, direct message you want, whether they answer you or not is what hasn't been, it's up to them, right? But at the same time, we've had to struggle with, we haven't really had to work through many problems in a lot of different areas, especially now in today's world. So, and that's why we have friends with benefits. Friends with benefits is probably the worst thing that ever happened to dating ever, because it just gave people the complete excuse to have the same emotions that you have in a relationship, but then at the same time, not have the commitment that you have to have in a relationship. And I was talking about this with someone earlier as well, that, you know, we can't, when people will lead you down a primrose path as far as, oh, I don't want to be serious, this is just fun, but then they'll put you right back into that situation where now it feels like a relationship and there's jealousy involved. So yeah, it's a great topic. I love your take on it. It's super, super true. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there who could really gain from hearing that information.
Yeah. And I appreciate that insight, by the way, and I just wanted to throw it out there that, look, most of the time, whenever I'm going through the social media, some of these subjects come up in social media, some of it's through mainstream media. Some of it is that, you know, I'm just digging into some of my books or I'm educating myself somewhere and something comes up and I'm looking for common causes that actually stop people from wanting to progress or to work towards getting into the life they want to have. So with that, I wanted to try to address these kind of things, you know, like it's still my babies are out here, like they're working through their problems. So, you know, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm sure you can. But I just want to address something that is a common thing. It pushes people away from unifying with others. You want unity, we need to start taking away a lot of these things, reasons and justifications to be divided. So I personally don't want to be divided. I don't want my nation to be divided. I do not want Americans to be divided. I want to try to tear down the things that are actually dividing us and at least shine light on it so that we could at least do something about it. Dating is actually a thing. It is something that's happening. I mentioned on the last episode, crazy cat ladies, or the modern day crazy cat ladies, which is more modern day feminism, not second wave or first wave, but third wave, the new feminism, which teaches women that they don't need a man at all, and anything a man can do, they can do better. Which means that if your guy gives you a problem, kick him to the curb, move on. You got other opportunities, which just creates more of this self-fulfilling prophecy of the crazy cat ladies. Although I don't mind cats myself, I actually like them a lot at times, but my babies don't. So, my little girl and boy out there that are vocally having a good time. But with all that, it's just, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because of that reason. I want to be able to shine some light on it. It's not about change the big macro things in your life. Sometimes you do have to look at the more micro things, the more intimate things to you, not just whether or not you have the president that you want, but also about the whole of what you want. So as far as that goes, that's really what I mean by dating that matters. This is a segment that you guys want to explore more. By all means, please do comment that in the comment section on the YouTube channel or Rumble, and make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit it for all. So every time we do something on the channel, you know what's going down, and grab yourself some nice cognac, sit back and see how well you and I can relax. All right. So unfortunately, we don't have time to go any further into that subject, but I do want to go into one more, and then we got to close up because it's just, don't have a whole lot of time here. And actually, you know what? I can't do this one right now. I apologize to everybody. We just don't have enough time because I'm going to need at least a good 20 minutes to talk about this one. So this is for everybody who's watching right now. Do know that on our next episode, Joshua and I are going to talk about an experience that I had as a kid. And here's what I'm going to propose and how I'm going to frame this is what's your take on what I experienced? Now, this particular thing is going to be a paranormal experience. What I mean by paranormal is not easy to describe or beyond the ability to describe in a normal sense. It is something different. Now, I am more science driven, and I will not just immediately ascribe to the idea that this is a ghost, that this is some sort of extraterrestrial or anything like that. But do know that in the next episode, I'm going to talk about at least one, if not then two events that happened in my childhood, which my childhood has a lot of these, but at least, if not one, then two pretty valuable and entertaining experiences, if nothing else to you, but sure shit wasn't entertaining to me when it happened. So with that, tune into our next episode. Unfortunately, I want to apologize to everybody. I did put in the description that I would get to it, but we just don't have time for it. I've got to go. I've got another appointment coming up here in a minute. And I know I've got to honor Joshua's time as well. So with that, check into our next one. Joshua, do you have anything in closing?
Yeah, just make sure you guys tune into the next episode. We're going to go over Chad's mystery topic, the story. Really looking forward to that. We're going to go over who my bets are going to be for the Kentucky Derby. And we'll probably get into a little bit of crypto. I didn't get to tell you guys which one I really, really like coming up. So tune into the next episode. If you have not yet, again, hit that subscribe button. We're 3 away from our goal of 60. Super close. We really, really appreciate it. And I had fun as always. I love the show. And I'll just take a quick second just to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed already, our viewers, our commenters, our likers. This has kind of always been a dream of mine to have a podcast, and you guys make it very easy to get up and ready to do the show for you guys every week. So really, really do appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. No matter whether we disagree, agree, whether I make you laugh, whether I make you mad, I just really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that. Absolutely appreciate all of you. With this, it is us continuously finding the way that our voice is heard in the process. So we do talk about it. We'll message back and forth about kind of like our experiences. We're growing in this. And we want to make sure that you guys also know, you guys, gals, however you want to prefer it, Apache helicopters, so sofa king, awesome people. I want you all to know that we appreciate you, and you do matter. You make a big difference for us. It's not just you watching us, it's also us experiencing you. So with that, if you haven't subscribed, please go to our YouTube and Rumble channel at Waking the People. Subscribe, leave a comment. We're going to be getting into some interesting things, and we're going to be trying a few different segments out. We're also going to be working towards doing some skits in the near future, because I have a very sarcastic and ridiculous sense of humor at times. I think I'm funny at times, but some people may think it's just kind of sad. I don't know. But we're going to do different things and kind of like turn this into waking people up in multiple different avenues, not just politics. So with that, I am your host, Sir Chad Everett Broshears, and I am joined with my co-host, this darling of a man, Joshua the Kraken, your patriot, what Prince sang about, McClendon. Oh, Joshua, you got anything else in closing?
Nothing. Have a great night, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. A couple days to the weekend, and we'll see you on Friday.
All right, same. Remember, we're all in this together, no matter how you feel about it. The divisions or the not necessarily the divisions, but the views shared this evening and or on this episode, do know that we're in this together. We do plan on obviously always staying open to more information. If you don't feel that some of the things we talked about are accurate, do know that there are experiences. Some of it's our research, but always we're open to communication. But if it's not your own idea, it might actually get ridiculed. So you might want to make sure you're prepared for the conversation. Although I don't plan on ridiculing us to affect your relationship with us, but at least to affect your relationship with your idea. So with that, love you. Catch you next time.